Hi lovelies! With the holidays fast approaching, I have been busy baking up a storm, and I have to say, things in my kitchen have never tasted quite so good. And I am really excited to be sharing all of these yummy recipes with you guys. Today, it is all about these absolutely incredible pecan pie bars. And they're essentially all of the yumminess of pecan pie except in bar form, so really easy to eat and actually surprisingly easy to put together. Now the first step in making these bars is going to be preparing our base. So in my bowl, I have got some room temperature butter. It's always a good idea to get your butter to room temperature when you're doing any baking. Trust me, it just makes your life a whole lot easier. To that, I'm going to be adding some all-purpose flour and some sugar. So we are just going to be mixing these three ingredients together using our hand mixer. You could definitely do this with a stand mixer as well if that's what you have on hand. You basically just want to start on low and get this nice and mixed until it resembles coarse crumbs. So now it's time to form our crust for our pecan pie bars. And to do that, I have got a 9x13 baking pan. Now I've greased the pan, but I've also lined it with some parchment paper. The parchment paper is optional, but it's just going to make these much easier to lift out of the pan once they're totally set. So I've got some parchment paper going one way and the other way with little wings so that when I lift it out, it's going to be really easy to work with. The next step is going to be just pouring this mixture into my pan. As you can see, it's still very crumbly, but not to worry, because basically what I'm going to be doing is just heading in here with my hands and using them to press this into the bottom of the pan in an even layer until a lovely crust forms. Just to give you a good look, you can see I now have this down in a nice even layer. And basically what I'm going to do is get this into a preheated oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for between say 15 and 18 minutes. You wanna see it just start to get a little bit golden on top. That means it's time to add your filling. In the meantime, while that's baking away, we're going to get to work on our pecan pie filling. And it, again, is really simple to make. Now, in my bowl, I have got some golden corn syrup. You could use light if you wanted to, but golden is what I had on hand, and it works really well in a pecan pie recipe. Now, to my corn syrup, I'm going to be adding some eggs. So I've got 4 eggs here. I'm gonna get those right into my bowl. I've also got some brown sugar, so great flavor. I've got some flour, which is just going to help this mixture get firm during the cooking process. I'm also going to add some salt, which just slightly offsets some of the sweetness in this filling, as well as a good helping of vanilla extract, one of my very favorite ingredients when it comes to baking. Next, I'll once again use my hand mixer to blend this all together until it's really thoroughly combined. And then the final step is just adding my pecans. Now you can leave your pecans whole if you want to, or chop them like I have here. And basically you just want to fold those in. Once you've got that filling prepared, it's time to take your base out of the oven. And while it's still hot, you're gonna go ahead and pour that filling over top. You just wanna get it in a nice, even layer, and then you can get this tastiness back into the oven for another 30 to 35 minutes, or until that filling has completely set. Now, the absolute hardest part with this recipe is waiting, because when it comes out of the oven, of course, it's very hot and it needs to cool completely before you cut it into squares. So I recommend letting it chill for at least 30 minutes to an hour, as challenging as that might be. And all you'll need to do then is just transfer it to a cutting board, cut it into squares, and you can seriously dig in. Guys, you will not regret making this recipe. It is so flavorful, the texture is absolutely amazing, and everyone in your life will be very thankful you did. I hope you'll give this one a try for yourselves, and as always, don't forget to tweet me, Instagram me, or Facebook me a photo, because you know how much I love seeing your kitchen creations, especially your holiday ones. Remember, the full recipe with all the measurements is linked in the description box below, so you can find it there. And finally, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe, because there is lots more deliciousness where this came from.